We are making space for 1999. Stay tuned. Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. This is Paul Knapp coming to you once again from the Man Cave, and I just wanted to show everybody that's been following me along why we needed to redo our shelves. This is what happens when you store them in a garage. Yep, they get a little dusty. This is why my buddy Johnny Cedric keeps them in the box, so this doesn't happen. But what fun is that to keep your figures in the box, right? So let's go ahead and get started with 1999. It is a huge year, so get a beer and kick back for a while. And kicking off 1999 was this simple figure. This was the first box figure. I believe this might have been a KB toy exclusive, but this is the U.S. Army Pacific. Just a rifle and helmet and outfit. And here is your first personality figure, I guess we can call it. This is Teddy Roosevelt. Teddy Roosevelt dressed in his Rough Rider outfit. He also had a pair of riding boots, which are not shown here. Had the U.S. flag. Of course, his glasses and mustache. This is Teddy Roosevelt, 1999. The next personality figure is Ted Williams. Ted Williams is a veteran from the Korean War. He was a pilot, but he was also a Major League Baseball player. I recall my brother having baseball cards of Ted Williams. It was one of his heroes. And this is the 1999 tribute to Ted Williams. Now this next figure is still in the box because I just received him from a friend of mine, Craig Felder. Thank you very much. This is Colonel Buzz Aldrin. It is from 1999. This is Man Walks on the Moon from 1969. And I thought I already had this figure, that's why it's still in the box. However, when I was doing my inventory, this figure here, which I thought the whole time, because on his pack, I don't know if you can see that, but it says Aldrin. It's actually R. Murray. This was the astronaut figure that came out a year or two later, and this was part of the Life magazine Apollo, I believe, mission. So probably the same outfit. They probably just repurposed it and then just put a different head on it. But this is the Buzz Aldrin, and I will open him up. And he is number 132 in my collection. And here he is once again out of his box and ready to join the rest of his G.I. Joe friends. This is Colonel Buzz Aldrin, and you can see the name on the life support system as well as his flight suit. So that's what Hasbro must have done. They repurposed his life support system and wasn't able to change the name on that. But it appears to be the exact same outfit, just a different head. So here he is, 1999, Buzz Aldrin. The next figure up is the U.S. Army Courier. Now this figure did come with a Harley motorcycle, not shown here, but I do have it. Thompson machine gun, a sidearm, and riding goggles and helmet. Again, this was the 1999 Army Courier. The next figure for the year is the U.S. Air Force Korean fighter pilot. He didn't come with much, just his flight suit, sidearm, regular cover, and sunglasses, but this is the U.S. Air Force Korean War fighter pilot. This is our second KB toy exclusive for the year. This is the U.S. Marine Vietnam. Again, didn't come with much, just a sidearm and a flashlight. But this was another, like I said, KB toy exclusive. The U.S. Marine Vietnam. The next figure, and not shown here in my collection, but it is on order, is the U.S. Army Desert. This was another KB toy exclusive for $19.99. This is the Millennial Salute Marine. He's a Master Sergeant with all his ribbons. And he has a button on his back. When you pull the button down, he draws up a salute. All that he came with is his uniform and gloves, and the gloves are actually painted on. His cover and M1 rifle, looks like. The next figure is the World War II infantry flamethrower. Now this is a box figure, came with an M1 rifle, also had the flamethrower on his back, had the ammo pouches. I'm not sure if this gas mask was actually used in World War II. It looks too new, too modern, but that's the one that came with it, so that's what I'm showing. Again, this is the World War II infantry soldier with flamethrower. Now, I said 1999 was a big year, and it was. This is the first time we've seen a G.I. Joe in police outfit. This is the Trouble at Prosperity Bank. And this is the first police officer, to the best of my knowledge. Going back from 1991 till now, he came with a shotgun, short shotgun, and his outfit, belt. But yeah, I really like this figure. And there were firefighters that came out. There were rescue workers that had come out in 1999. So we're going to take a look at those. Also in 1999. If you recall, was the first year they came out with the Adventure Team. We started revisiting the Adventure Team. But I'm going to do a separate video on them. I'm not going to add them into my normal G.I. Joe collection. They're going to have their own video, so stay tuned for that in the future. This next figure is the U.S. Navy Assault Specialist. This was another blister card figure. Just came with an M16. I love these tiger stripe camis. Definitely the camo painted face, really cool. All he had on was a bandana. I'm sure this was their take on Navy SEAL, but they called it U.S. Navy Assault Specialist. Another cool figure for 1999 was this World War II military police. And this is where Hasbro, they were starting to really get specific in dates and times and uniforms of the era. You know, the Vietnam stuff was starting to come out, the Korean War stuff was coming out, some more World War II stuff. I mean, this is just, you didn't have to guess, you just you got everything with it. So he got his MP helmet, he's got his band, he's got his back his M1 rifle with his belt. So this is again the World War II military police. And this is figure number 142 in my collection. I just received this one as I was doing this class of 1999 reunion, if you will. This is the Delta Soldier. This was a 35-year anniversary figure, I guess you could say. Came with a shotgun, MP5, climbing rope, grappling hook, 2 flashbangs, ballistic helmet, goggles. Again, this is the Delta Soldier for 1999. And just when you think Hasbro is legit and doing some cool stuff with their Vietnam and Korean War and World War II outfits, then they start coming out with this. This was a series of 3 figures. It was called, I think, a 2010 series, even though they came out in 1999. This one is called the Alpine Assault 2010. But again, it was issued in 1999. I don't get it. I guess it's futuristic, what the uniforms might look like in the future, but this is the first of 3. This next 2010 figure was known as Operation Shadow. I'm sure he was probably the sniper of the group. This is Operation Shadow. Again, these could almost fall into the Adventure Team series. I'm not sure why they didn't. All they had to do was put some fuzzy hair on these guys and Made him a little more Adventure Teamish, but yeah, this one's known as the Operation Shadow 2010. And the third and final figure from the 2010 series. This one is known as Operation Lion's Den. It came with a kind of a climbing backpack, the face mask, this armor plate, and kind of an Uzi gun weapon. But the third and final one, again, didn't really care for this series. Not sure why it was named 2010, but all three came out in 1999. Now this next one was kind of an interesting gimmick that they came up with in 1999. This is the U.S. Army Mortarman Camouflage Kit. Now what you did, he had this poncho on. It was just a plain green poncho, but the mortar itself was a magic marker, and kids were supposed to color the poncho, I guess, camo to either match that or whatever they wanted to. But yeah, kind of an interesting gimmick. This was a figure, not a figure set. This is how it came. No rifle, no helmet, just the outfit, poncho, and then the mortar, which, like I said, the mortar barrel itself was an actual marker, and you would color the poncho. Now this is another interesting figure. This figure was issued twice in the year. It was issued with a 35th anniversary figure set that came with a throwback figure to 1964. This was a 35th anniversary. This figure is known as the Modern Land Warrior figure. The modern day Land Warrior. And he was also issued by himself with a lot of extra gear. The one I'm showing here is from the 35th anniversary. It was the 2-pack. And if you're wondering where the throwback figure is, any figure that they came out with, and it was starting in 1999, that looked like the vintage 1964 figures, I'm going to do a review on them all by themselves. So I'm not counting them as part of this series that I'm doing. I'm going to do any figure that looks like the vintage original throwbacks, the reissues, the 40th anniversary, all those anniversary figures, the timeless collection. All those are going to be in their own series. So this was the Modern Day Warrior for 1999. Now this is the second Coast Guard figure, I believe, that Hasbro came out with. This is the Cold Weather Immersion Suit. It's a Coast Guard figure. All we came with was the shotgun, a ball cap, and this immersion suit. Now this is another interesting gimmick that Hasbro came up with. This is the USMC grenade thrower. I'm sure it was supposed to represent the Vietnam era. It has the jungle boot on, camis, just a flak jacket, a pistol, and a helmet. And he had a trigger on his back that would raise and throw. His arm would throw, and you would put a grenade in there. He comes with, I believe, 3 grenades. However, my figure says, as you can see right there, U.S. Army. So I don't know if they repurposed these, or it was a misprint, or maybe they made Army ones and Marine Corps ones. Somebody can let me know, but mine says U.S. Army. So he's a U.S. Army grenade thrower. Another cool figure from the Vietnam era. This is the Vietnam Jungle Recon. This figure had that same action where you push the button and it raised his arm. I guess you could put the machete in there and have it like a chopping arm kind of thing in the bush. Came with the binoculars, his belt, canteen, pistol, M16, and a very cool cami outfit. Very reminiscent of kind of the Green Beret back in the day, I guess. Jungle boots. But he had a black beret on. So again, this is the Jungle Recon. Now this is the first time we have seen these painted on t-shirts. I don't believe were in previous years that I've reviewed. This was an interesting figure that I found. It is a fire department air division. And I'll show you close-ups of his shirt and on the back what it says. But because all he came with was a spotlight and his helmet. I don't believe Hasbro ever made a helicopter for this figure. He has the Jungle Boot on. So kind of an interesting figure, but this is when they started doing these painted on shirts to save money, I guess. So no cloth shirts with some of the figures coming up. But again, this was 1999. This was the Fire Department Air Division. The next figure in my collection is number 152. This is Airborne at Normandy. This was another awesome figure. It actually came with a working parachute, not a parachute pack with no chute. Had his helmet, uniform, had a reserve chute in front. And also this one is marked with the 101st Airborne. I'm not sure if they made different ones or if the 101st Airborne was the only one they made for this Airborne at Normandy figure. Another one of my favorite figures is the Navajo Code Talker. This came out in 1999 as well. Had his M1 rifle. If you've seen the movie Wind Talkers, you're probably very familiar with this figure. Again, the Navajo Code Talker. This next figure is the first World War I outfit uniform that we've seen. This is the World War I Doughboy. Came with the automatic machine gun, rifle, gas mask, backpack, helmet, and uniform. The American Doughboy. Another World War II outfit uniform is this U.S. Army Minesweeper. Now, he came with a rifle and his mine detector, along with these 2 landmines. Landmines had magnets on top, and if you wave the mine detector across it, it would pick them up and flip it to red. There's a little magnet on the top of that. Neat little gimmick that Hasbro came up with, but this is the Army Minesweeper. This is another Korean War soldier. This is the Defense of Seoul. Came with the bazooka and his rifle. Winter gear. They even put a little dusting of white on his boots, looking like snow. But this is the Defense of Seoul. Not sure if it's Army or Marine Corps. Probably Army. But yeah, like the winter outfit, winter gear. Now this is just a partial of the deluxe mission gear set, the first deluxe mission gear set for 1999. This was the D-Day deluxe mission gear set. It came with barbed wire and landmines and these other mines on posts, and I think some tetrahedrons, I believe they're called, the stakes, and I believe some German hand grenades. But anyway, I just to put that out there, I will put a picture with it just so everybody sees. But this is just a part of it. This was the barbed wire that came with it, and the landmines, and all the other stuff was too big to fit on my shelf. The first battle set gear is the Korean Soldier battle set gear. This came with a BAR, E-tool or shovel, binoculars, flak jacket, had this winter kind of cap wrap, and a helmet. Again, this is the Korean Soldier set. The next mission gear set was the Vietnam Soldier mission gear set. Came with a machete, flak jacket, helmet, M16. Another small set, but here it is. Now, this is the second outfit for the World War I era. This is the World War I Doughboy set, battle gear. He actually came with a backpack. Can't tell if you see that, but it had pigeons in it, and the pigeons would fly messages back and forth from the front line. And he had a mess kit with some grenades. But this is the Doughboy set, not a figure. Now this is another battle gear set. This was the U.S. Military Photographer battle set. I want to say this was made for the Vietnam era. I don't think these uniform and gear were for World War II. I could be wrong. Came with 3 cameras, helmet, had an armband for photographer. But the jungle boot was definitely Vietnam era. So I want to say this is probably a Vietnam photographer. And the next battle gear set is the Navy SEAL battle gear set. This was straight out of probably Desert Storm, Desert Shield time frame, or a little bit later. Had the stocking cap, radio comms, UDT. Looks like a recording device, possibly Uzi. Had the swim top on, but not the bottoms. It was just cami bottoms and boots. But this was the Navy SEAL. And this next one is a first responder, I guess you could call it. This was the smoke jumper set. Came with the oxygen bottle and his axe and helmet. So it was a really cool figure, or excuse me, not a figure set. Probably could have been a figure set, but this was a battle gear set, I guess you could say. And again, this is the smoke jumper. This is another first responder set. This is the police SWAT mission gear set. Came with the shield helmet, kind of a vest, had a belt with some gear on it. I apologize if I'm not mentioning all the gear that was listed on all these figures, but this is more to give you an idea of what came out, and you can look up the sets by year. I'm sure you can still find them on eBay, or just Google it and you can see exactly all the pieces that came with all these sets. This next one is the Battle of Tarawa mission gear set. This is a Marine in the Pacific. Machine gun with tripod. Came with a big machete, ammo belt, grenades. And I love that new cami design on the helmet. Again, Marine Tarawa mission set. Now this next one is from Vietnam era. This is Saving Quezon. This was a top secret mission gear set. Came with a radio, M16, elephant gun, 3 grenades, and this helmet with the camouflage actually coming out, which is pretty cool. But this is Saving Quezon. This was a top secret mission gear set. Now here's another outfit from the Korean War era. This is the Invasion of Incheon fighter pilot. And he has his soft cover as well as his hot coffee, I believe, and he has a flag in his hand. It's clipboard. But this is the Incheon fighter pilot. Next mission gear is a little more modern. This is Sights on Baghdad. This was another top secret mission gear. Straight out of Desert Storm, Desert Shield. He had his SAT phone there, SAT computer, helmet, goggles, weapon. But again, this was a little more modern. And this is Sights on Baghdad, another mission gear set. And this next figure set is another top secret mission. This is Apaches in the Gulf War, top secret mission set. Came with the helmet, goggles, sidearm, and flight suit. Again, another top secret mission set for $19.99. And this one is called Freedom in Kuwait City, top secret mission. Another Desert Storm, Desert Shield figure. Obviously probably a tank commander of sorts, with the radio comms and his headset, his goggles. Again, Freedom in Kuwait City, top secret mission gear. Now these next 3 figures are known as the Millennium Series. This is the World War I aviator. And it has that plastic type jacket that kind of melted. But it's World War I ace pilot, I believe. It did come with like bases and stands. Not pictured here, but this is the World War I aviator. The second figure in this series is the Vietnam helo pilot. This was a chopper pilot. Got a sidearm and his 7th Cav hat, captain bars. This was the helo pilot, second figure in the Millennium series. And the last figure in the series is the Korean private. Again, if you look close, you can see the mustache and beard. He's dressed up in his winter gear. Got his mittens. Even has the highlighted white on boots, like snow. And even on the helmet, a little dusting. Came with a rifle. And again, this is the Korean private. And the final figure for the year, at least in my collection, for $19.99, is this convention exclusive. Now I know I'm breaking my own rule because I said I would not do exclusives, but I have him in my collection. I do not have the Japanese soldier that came with him, but this is the Tarawa Invasion Marine. Again, it was a 2-pack at the convention. I can't remember what year. I'll have to post it. But this was a Marine all-cloth uniform, very reminiscent of the D-Day one that they made, and has the USMC logo, has a netting over the helmet, Thompson machine gun. This would be the last figure that I have for $19.99. And I apologize for missing this deluxe Battle Gear set. This one Marine here in the middle, he has the gear for the Vietnam Base Camp Deluxe set. I'll post a picture with this. Somehow I missed him. Getting too caught up in all these figures, and I skipped one. But he should be the last one for $19.99.